Good evening, everyone. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those who are new to XENA World family. I am honored for having been entrusted with the responsibility of hosting this show. It's a true reflection of the objective of this foundation, where every family member is given opportunity. I'm here in front of you only because the foundation has faith in people like me. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Today we are going to talk about proprietorship businesses in India. Proprietorship business is one of the most traditional form of business entities that we have in India. Sole proprietorship business means individual, single owner. There is no partner. There are no other shareholders. So the complete control lies in the hands of the proprietor, the person who has started the business. He is only the promoter of the business. He has the entire responsibility right from uh, conceiving the business idea to arranging the funds, getting all the registrations and licenses that are required done, and then starting the business. He alone has to bear all the expenses and losses of the business. Same time, he is the only one who will be enjoying the profits as well. तो प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेस की अगर हम बात करें, इंडिया में सबसे पहले जो बिजनेस एंटिटी चलती हैं, सबसे शुरू से जो बिजनेस एंटिटीज चल रही हैं, वो प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेसेस हैं. लेटर ऑन बिजनेस जैसे जैसे इवॉल्व हुआ, तो हमारे साथ हमारे यहाँ पार्टनरशिप बिजनेसेस, LLPs, कंपनीज, इन सब का भी प्रोविजन आया. तो लोगों ने उसमें भी स्टार्ट किया बिजनेस करना. लेकिन अभी के टाइम पे भी there are many proprietorships that are running very successfully and they are conducting their business in the most efficient manner. So those of us जिनके पास ज्यादा कैपिटल नहीं है, ज्यादा वो बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहते, वो अपना किसी के साथ अपना आइडिया शेयर नहीं करना चाहते, और खुद वो कॉन्फिडेंट है कि वो अपना बिजनेस खुद से मैनेज कर पाएंगे और उसे रन कर पाएंगे, तो दे कैन गो फॉर प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेस. दिस इज वन ऑफ द इजीएस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ बिजनेसेस इन इंडिया. इसमें हमें ज्यादा कंप्लायंसेस का बर्डन नहीं दिया जाता है, क्योंकि इसमें कोई किसी भी तरह का पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट इन्वॉल्व नहीं होता है. ओनली वन इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस बिजनेस इज द प्रोप्राइटर, द ओनर ऑफ द बिजनेस, हु हैज इन्वेस्टेड द एंटायर अमाउंट and he's expecting his profits and losses. Proprietorship businesses जो है अभी, इनको साल में अपना जो कंप्लायंस का काम होता है इनका, वो एक तो इनका मेजर जो कंप्लायंस इनको करना होता है वो जीएसटी का कंप्लायंस होता है. इफ they are above the threshold limit that has been prescribed for registration under the Goods and Service Tax Act. तो अगर इनका बिजनेस जीएसटी के अंडर रजिस्टर्ड है, तो इनको जीएसटी के कंप्लायंसेस हर मंथ पूरे कराने होंगे, लाइक फाइलिंग ऑफ GSTR 1 and 3B. These are the two GST returns that are filed on monthly basis for business owners. GSTR 1 that is filed on the 11th of succeeding month, like all the transactions reported in the month of August will be reported in the GSTR 1 of August, and this will be filed on the 11th of September, 11th of the succeeding month. In this return, we only have to give the details of all the outward sales or services that we have provided during the month. After that, on the 20th of the succeeding month, another return that is to be filed is GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B is filed on the 20th of succeeding month. In this return, we take all the credits and input credit that is accrued to us, and after that, the whatever balance is outstanding, we have to pay it in cash on the 20th of the succeeding month. So this is all about GST compliance. And apart from this, if the turnover of the firm is above 5 crore, they also have to get their GST audit done. So these are the few GST related compliances that are applicable on proprietorship firms. Apart from this, they also have to file an annual return for their firm. Usually the proprietor's PAN card is used for registration of proprietorship business. So the income tax return that is filed will be filed by the proprietor himself on the PAN of proprietor himself or herself. इसके बाद अगर हम बात करें प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेस की और डिफरेंस की बात करें, अगर हम मेजरली अगर हम डिफरेंस की बात करें कि दूसरे बिजनेस एंटिटीज में और प्रोप्राइटरशिप में क्या डिफरेंस होता है, तो द मेजर डिफरेंस दैट इज देयर in it is there is no separate legal entity in case of proprietorship firms. Like the business and owner is one and the same person, considered one and the same person. Likewise, in other businesses, like partnership firms and companies, the business has a separate legal entity. But in proprietorship firms, there is no separate legal entity. Another disadvantage that we have is of running a proprietorship business is the capital can be invested by the proprietor himself, and he can have the entire control of the business. He doesn't need to share his control with any other, because he is the sole owner, and he is the only one who is running the business. अब अगर हम स्टार्ट करने की बात करें सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेस, it requires no legal formalities or registration, as there is no separate act or separate act that has been enacted in India for registration of sole proprietorship businesses. So only thing that is available as for registration under sole proprietorship is we have to rely on other acts like GST, trademark, or MSME, Udyog Aadhaar. These are certain documents that we can rely on for getting our sole proprietorship business registered. Similarly, if there is any other sectoral license that is required to be taken, like if the business is dealing in food articles, they will have to take their food safety license, FSSAI license. Similarly, so if there is any sectoral license that is required, the business will have to get that as well. Apart from that, there are other state level registrations that are prescribed in different states, like trade license, health license. These are given by the local state government. So this also are some of the registrations which business owners can rely on. I already talked about GST registration. If GST is applicable to the business, they'll have to get themselves registered under GST as well and complete and do the compliances on regular basis as required. Apart from that, professional tax registration is also one thing that has to be taken by businesses for employing professionals. And if the number of employees working in the business is above 10, they will also have to get a registration under EPF and ESI provisions in employees provident fund and employee state insurance. This is also applicable if there are more than 10 employees working under the business. Now, as it's a sole proprietorship business, we do not operate a saving account for doing the transactions. We have to get a current account open in the name of the firm. Once the current account is opened, business can start receiving and transferring funds from their suppliers and customers. Starting and running a proprietorship business has always been very easy. We can any day start the business. Every second shop that we see in on the roads, on the streets in India are registered as a sole proprietorship business, because it's very easy to govern, and it is very easy to manage as well. There are less documentation that we need to undergo every year, and less compliance burden. So everyone who wishes to start their business, who has a small idea, they are not confident about, and they are they are confident about it, they can start the business from day one. Whereas in other forms of business, you have to get several registrations done, post which you will have to get your current account opened, and then you can start with your business. But in proprietorship, you can start your business right away from day one. There is no such hindrance in this. If we talk about specific advantages of proprietorship business, what are the specific advantages that we have for the if we go in detail? So the first thing I will say is the best advantage that we have is in proprietorship business is the control of the business. The control of the business lies in the hand of the proprietor. He will have complete control over the business. He will look after all the aspects of the business. Since one person is running the business, secrecy can be maintained. There will be no sharing, or there can be no apprehension of data theft. Nobody can be able to take away your data. Apart from this, it also is advantageous in the fact that it allows quick decision making. If we have any business decision which we need to undertake, we do not have to take permission from others. Like in case of partnership, in case of companies, joint stock companies, all the business decisions are taken on the basis of voting. Whatever business decision they have to take, they conduct a meeting and then they vote on the agenda, and whosoever votes in favor of the agenda, that particular agenda becomes the decision. However, in case of proprietorship, there is no such thing. In proprietorship, the business decisions can be taken by the proprietor himself, and that way it is very quick and prompt. They don't have to rely on others. Then I have already told you that the compliance burden in case of proprietorship is very less. So it is one of the most economical and less expensive to start as compared to a company or a LLP. Now, if I talk about one major disadvantage that proprietorship firms have is unlimited liability. The liability clause, there is no liability clause in case of a proprietorship business, as in case of joint stock companies, the name of which ends with the word limited. It suggests that these businesses have limited liability, as opposed to proprietorship businesses where the liability is unlimited. If suppose a business owner incurs a loss, in case of loss, the liability of that business owner will not be limited to the capital that he has invested or his business assets. His personal assets are also at the stake in case of proprietorship business. That is the only disadvantage that we have. And apart from that, I don't see any other reason that we should not go for proprietorship businesses in select cases where the capital is a hindrance. We do not have unlimited capital. We have to start economical. Then we can surely go for proprietorship business. Apart from this, it is the documentation part. If we come down to the documentation part in case of registration for sole proprietorship business, the documents required are also quite basic documents of the proprietors, like his Aadhaar card, his PAN card, his passport size photo, his registered office proof, like any utility bill of his registered office, like electricity bill, gas bill, or landline bill. These all are acceptable as registered as office proof. Apart from that, a bank account in the name of the business has to be opened once the documentation, the license, the registration, all this has been done. So if I talk about a checklist of the sole proprietorship business, what all we need to do. So first of all, we need to conceive a business idea, what business we will be doing. Then we have to decide how much capital is required in the business, how much of funds will be required to start the business. Then the owner has the responsibility to arrange the funds to start the business. He can rely upon his his savings to invest in his business. If he doesn't have too much of saving, if he's running short of finance, then he'll have to arrange it on himself. Like if he goes to a bank, he'll have to take a loan in his own name. He cannot apply he cannot apply for a business loan in the beginning. One registration that sole proprietorship businesses can take, which is also very easy and very economical as well, is a Shop and Establishment Act. Shop and Establishment Act is one such act where sole proprietorship businesses can get themselves registered at a very economical price, and the registration procedure is quite easy as well. It's online. Anyone can log into the website and do their registration on their own and get the certificates printed. This is also acceptable as a proof of business registration under sole proprietorship business. So if I talk about the time that is required to register a sole proprietorship business, it hardly takes a couple of days, 2 to 3 days for the registration of a sole proprietorship business. Most of the registrations like MSME and shop and establishment can be done in the same day. However, it takes a couple of days, 2 to 3 days for GST registration. If all the documents are properly attached, GST registration also gets approved in 2 to 3 days mostly. So it is also not too time consuming. So now, as we discussed about sole proprietorship businesses in India, now we can see that it is very easy to register, very easy to maintain, and very economical to maintain as well. So all those budding entrepreneurs can go ahead and get their sole proprietorship forms registered and carry on their business. Thank you so much.